In the mid-80s, a film called Ghostbusters captured the imaginations of children everywhere. But where did it come from?
We're the Ghostbusters.
I'm Spencer. He's Tracy.
I'm Kong.
In fact, the answer is 1975 with the television show The Ghostbusters. Yes, and the first episode of that show is The Maltese Monkey, which of course is a joke on the Maltese Falcon, which is one of the best detective dramas ever put to film, so I hear. I've never seen it. I really think that's now a hole in my character as a reviewer, but because I'm the type of person that likes to review every piece of media as its own thing, I watched The Maltese Monkey, the first episode of The Ghostbusters television show, and it is generally considered amazingly bad. In fact, no attempt is made to explain who these people are and how they became Ghostbusters. They just sort of get thrown into it, and you really feel like you should already know these characters from previous episodes. Forrest Tucker as Kong is the basic straight man. He is the guy that is the leader of the group. Not exactly the smartest man on earth, but certainly not the dumbest, and he keeps the story moving along when the other two get things screwed up. Larry Storch plays both the Ghostbuster Spencer and the Ghost Big Al in this particular television episode. And interestingly enough, this is your first introduction to the concept of ghosts as this show is putting them out, and they look just like people. And in fact, Big Al not only looks just like Spencer, he is dressed exactly like Spencer, right down to everything. The only difference is the voice. Of course, it's the same actor, and you realize this is a kid's show, but really, it doesn't look like a lot of effort was put into this, and you can see how this kind of fell into obscurity. Interestingly enough, there's Bob Burns as Tracy the Gorilla. So you've got the character of Spencer, Tracy, Spencer and Tracy, a joke on the actor Spencer Tracy. Then you've got a man named Kong. And then you've got, the fact that this is a thing about ghosts with a gorilla in it. And where does this manifest in the 80s is actually there was a 80s era cartoon show called The Ghostbusters that focused on the continuation of these characters in some way. So yeah, I could see that there's a very similar style. This also relates very much to the original Spookbusters movie because they've got the same car and it does the same things. And in that movie, there was an ape as well. So you get the similarities. As guests on the show are Johnny Brown as the Fat Man and Billy Barty as the Rabbit. And here is a clip of these two discussing their evil plan to steal the Maltese Monkey.
The light, my boy, the light.
Yes, Fat Man.
Ah, Rabbit, the time approaches when we must contact the spirit of Big Al.
How true. And then Big Al will help us to get the thing.
All in all, as a television episode, there isn't much to it. It feels very reminiscent of the 15-minute radio dramas of the 40s and 30s era. I have to say that in terms of this episode, I can see why this show didn't get a second season. It is very much situational comedy, it's really corny, it's really campy, and it hasn't aged well. The Maltese Monkey is not a show you absolutely have to see. If you weren't going to watch the whole series, you could skip this one and not lose much. In addition, this is the first time we see the disintegrator, I think it's called, but there's no reference as to what it is. It's a mechanical device that is used to send ghosts back to the great beyond. And, well, it does that. I guess it's your first proton pack, but, at the end of this episode, you're left with more questions than answers. You're kind of getting, it's for kids. It's not for me as an audience. And I think kids at the time would have loved this show. It's peppy, has a lot of energy, and it's really interesting. Personally, I'm probably not going to revisit this at any time in my life, but I am glad I watched because I'm a Ghostbusters fanatic.